Day 5, okay? Yeah. So first day back after Saturday, had a pretty physical practice, full pads, had a live goal line short yardage period. Offensive line looked really, really good. They kind of got their tails kicked on Saturday, and so that's the way that usually goes. I mean, it's the same every spring, every school you've ever been at. You rip their rear end when they get killed one day, and then they come back the next day, and they're the ones that dominate. But it was really an impressive performance there in that drill. The big thing is you want to see consistency all throughout practice, and you want to see consistency day to day. And that's one thing that some of our guys that maybe haven't played much in the past, it's one thing they don't understand. Like Malik Fleming, Manny Hickman, Holt Nailers, Keaton Mitchell. You know what you're gonna get every single day, every day. And we have a lot of guys like that. They're dependable, but they're the same kid every day. They work hard every day. They're preparing every day. They do things right in their personal life every day. Okay, and then you get some guys that are kind of like this. They have one good day, one bad day. One day they work really hard. The next day they don't work as hard. They have a good day one day academically. The next day they skip class, and you wonder why that kid is the one. Sometimes he makes a great play. Not wow, what a play! And the next time, he drops a wide open pass, or he misses a block or whatever. It's consistency, and I'm a firm believer. If you're consistent in your personal life, you're consistent with the way you work, you're going to be a consistent player on the field. And that's one thing we've got to continue to develop more guys that what you're going to get day in and day out.
You talked about that O-line. This is the second off season Avery's worked at center. Have you kind of noticed a jump there?
Well, he's much more comfortable. It's hard now. You figure you got a 300-pounder sitting right there in your face, and you got to snap the football and move and block. It takes a special person to be a center, and plus you got ID protections. So he's very comfortable there now. Snaps are much better, much more consistent, and he's so athletic. He's one of those guys. He can do some things that other guys can't do just because of his athleticism. But he's a guy I have very high expectations for, and really trying to push him to kind of play at that next level.
As far as the rest of the O-line goes, is there anyone or anything that's sticking out to you?
I think Isaiah Foote is having a really good spring. That's a kid that you recruited him. You knew he had some ability, but you just gotta. It's like you just gotta let him mature. You gotta let him grow up. O-linemen, they don't come in and play right away usually, and it usually takes them a couple of years. But he's finally, playing with confidence, playing with some nastiness. Doing some really good things in the run game and the pass game. I've been pleased with him so far.
How much have you guys limited, Rajay and Keaton? Because obviously you want to get them enough work and keep them sharp.
It's a good mix. Mm-hmm. So they, we're careful how many snaps they get, but then again, there's some things that they really have to improve on too. So we're pretty deliberate with what snaps that they do get. But both of them, they look like what you expect them to look like right now. I'll tell you, Rajay is back to what. We saw that first year from him, probably better. Keaton has picked right up where he left off, and he's really healthy right now. But those two guys, they're pretty special. We're fortunate to have them.
With Rajay last year, do you feel like, was he pressing at times, trying to do too much, or what was it? Yeah.
Probably. I think it's just, it wasn't for lack of wanting to. I just think he's been very driven this off season to, really be that impact player again. And now all of a sudden, you got both of them playing at an extremely high level. It's not many people have that combination. We're very fortunate.
The wide receiver group is probably the newest group within the offense.
Yep.
How are they developing, and what have you seen good out of them?
Well, I think you continue to see guys come along and make some big catches and show more consistency. Taji Hudson had a big catch on a third down against the pressure today. Holton, made the correct adjustment right there, got the ball out. He made a contested catch in traffic, so that's good to see. You just want to continue to see which guys are going to make those plays consistently.
You talked about Malik at corner. How have the other guys, we're going to make much about Jaquan McMillan moving on, obviously. How have the other guys come along?
Demel Hickman has had a very, very good start to the spring, but he had a really good winter off-season conditioning. It's just I don't know. It's one of those things we talked about. We were talking about in pre-practice. You look up and a guy, you wonder how he's going to develop, and then a couple of years later, you look up and you're like, wow, he's a really good player. And Demel, he and I were talking out in the hallway. He was one of those guys when he was young that was inconsistent day in and day out. Now all of a sudden, he's the same guy every day, and he's playing like that on the field. And he's had a really, really solid start to the spring. Juwan Powell, moving back to corner. He's obviously very talented. He no doubt he can do it. Got a little banged up Saturday, so he'll miss a few days. But I feel like he's going to be a solid guy there. And then you're competing to see who's the other guy.
Going back to winter conditioning and all the improvements that the team has made, or is anybody else that stands out in making tremendous gains and improvements over the winter?
There's lots of guys. I hesitate sometimes to name names and stuff like that, but you look like Walt Striblin. I think he is much improved right now over what he was in the fall, and a lot of it's his strength. He worked very, very hard at it, during the winter, and so you want to see that transition, to play on the field. Ryan Jones has had a very good start this spring. It's I can sit here and rattle off 10 names
Right. I feel like this is the first year that you've had 2 consistent winter practices, spring, summer, and we should start to see a lot of those improvements. So I just wondered if
you should. And you've had it's groups. That whole defensive line group. That offensive line group, not just 1 or 2 guys. The secondary, the safety room. You got Gerard Stringer, Jairo Wilson, Tegan Wilkes, Sean Dorso, Demetrius Mooney. Those guys have played a lot of reps. Julius Wood, and all of a sudden you got a lot of guys that have experience that are, and those guys are very consistent with their work ethic, and it's so that's why you look pretty good on Saturday. You're looking like a pretty decent bunch out there. Now there's some areas we've got to improve on, but it's night and day from what it was even last year in the spring.
You had a big recruiting weekend. Just what type of feedback have y'all gotten with some facility upgrades, and also coming off a winning season, which is a pretty big deal right now?
It's frustrating because the recruits, their first time here, they all say about the same thing. Wow, I had no idea it looked like this. Wow, I didn't expect this. And it doesn't matter whether they're talking about the athletic facilities or campus. But I don't know what the perception is out there in other parts of the world. But obviously, anybody that hadn't seen East Carolina University and our athletic facilities and everything else, don't judge it until you come see it. Because this is not the East Carolina of 25 years ago. People have invested heavily around here, both in the academic institution and in the athletics, and we've got a lot to offer. So it was a great weekend. We had about 50 of the top sophomore and junior prospects in Southeast. A lot of guys with a lot of stars by their names, but it was really, really a good weekend, and just really enjoyed having them here. Justin Anderson has been a great addition to our staff as our new director of player personnel and recruiting, and he's adding staff members right now, and just his organization and his professionalism. He really put together a really good day.